Hello, and welcome to the dungeon. I'm your host, Rob. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Oath of Watchers Paladin. Mostly because it's one of the only ones I haven't looked at so far. The list of Paladin subclasses we haven't covered is quite small compared to, say, the list of monks that I hadn't covered yet. But either way, I really like the Oath of Watchers, especially if I'm planning on going straight Paladin. Now, to be fair, I usually don't. I like multi-classing with Paladins quite a bit. But if you either wanted more Paladin, like say a Paladin 11 type build where you're getting that extra, your extra damage at 11, or maybe you just want to go all Paladin, I think Oath of Watcher starts to look a lot better, especially because their level 7 ability is absolutely amazing. It's one of the best abilities that any Paladin subclass gets at 7, specifically, of course. And also, I think their higher level spell selection is quite good. The lower level spells are not so much, but the 3rd, 4th, and 5th have some nice stuff. And a lot of times as a Paladin, we just don't get that high, right? Or, it's coming on late. Like your 5th level spells, you're not getting to level 17. Most campaigns never even go that far anyway. So they're kind of irrelevant. But, if you're going to be playing straight Paladin and getting to a decent level, then this is a really, really good subclass. So let's go over the tenets really quickly, even though they don't make much of a difference for gameplay. They're all roleplay stuff. So you have vigilance, loyalty, and discipline. It kind of gives you an idea of what kind of people they are. The oath spells, of course. So at level 3, you're going to get alarm and detect magic. They're okay. Detect magic's kind of useful. Level 5, you get moonbeam and see invisibility. Moonbeam's a spell that on a straight caster, like a pure caster, I don't mind. But by the time you're level 5, it's kind of starting to lose some of its impact already. At 9th level, though, we get Counterspell and Non-Detection. And Counterspell is amazing. And even if you have somebody else in your party with Counterspell already, having more than one person with it is always great. So, never going to complain about having that on my spell list. Level 13, we get Aura of Purity and Banishment. Again, decent spells. At level 17, we get Hold Monster and Scrying. But like I said, most campaigns never get that far anyways. So anyways, at level 3, we get our Channel Divinities. And just like every other Paladin, we get 2 different options. As of Tasha's, we also have the option of regaining expended spell slots, of course. So if your Channel Divinities really suck, you can always do that. But in this case, we get, the first option is Watch's Will. You can use your Channel Divinity to invest your presence with the warding power of your faith. As an action, you can choose a number of creatures you can see within 30 feet of you, up to the number equal to your charisma modifier, a minimum of 1 creature. For 1 minute, you and the chosen creature have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. I wish there was a bonus action. That would be nice. But still not a bad ability if you know you're going to be going into those circumstances where you're going to have to make a lot of those saving throws. The problem is, you might not know that. And that is kind of circumstantial, right? If you know, we're going to have to make a lot of charisma saving throws, I'll use this ability. Still, under those circumstances, it is a pretty good ability, especially combined with your level 6 aura. Once you've got aura protection, advantage, plus your charisma bonus, you're not going to fail anything almost. So that is nice, but I don't consider it a great ability. You also get Abjure the Extraplanar. You can use your Channel Divinity to castigate unworldly beings. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Then, of course, it goes through all the conditions that turned, but they're the same all the time, so I won't bother boring with the details. Mostly, though, this affects a wide variety of creature types. If you compare it to, say, like the Oath of the Ancients Paladin, where you can turn, like, I believe it's Fae and Fiends. I mean, that's it, Here we get aberrations. Not tons of aberrations, but they're out there. Celestials, to be fair, you're probably not going to be turning a lot of Celestials. But elementals, Fae, and Fiends. So we have all the same options that the Oath of the Ancients had, with 3 more on top of it. And yeah, even if elementals are somewhat common, right? Aberrations aren't completely uncommon. Like I said, celestials very rare. But even still, it's not a bad ability. It gives you a wide variety of different creature types that it's useful on. So, as far as turning abilities go, it's pretty good. And like I said, you can always just recover spell slots and then, use those to smite with, because obviously you're not casting any spells, at least not off that low-level spell list that we just mentioned. Anyways, level 7, Aura of the Sentinel. You emit an aura of alertness while you aren't incapacitated. When you and any creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you roll initiative, you all gain a bonus to initiative equal to your proficiency bonus. At 18th level, the range of this aura increases to 30 feet. This ability is amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. Number one, you do get to choose the creatures, so there's no, you're not buffing the enemy accidentally or anything like that. It's not that hard at the beginning of a combat to have multiple allies within your aura, and just giving everybody a +2 all the way up to, well, I guess it's actually a +3 by the time you get this ability. So a minimum of +3 all the way to +6 potentially to their initiative rolls is insane. Speed can really win a combat for a party. And especially if you want to be, maybe you got a wizard who wants to cast some crowd control type spells. Or maybe you just want to burn 1 or 2 of the enemies down before they have a chance to attack back and just lessen the incoming damage towards your party. Either way, this ability is excellent. I absolutely love it. I honestly think it's probably the best of the Paladin level 7 subclass abilities. Because even some of the really great classes, like Oath of Vengeance is one of my favorites, but their level 7 ability isn't great. A lot of their other abilities are great, but the level 7 one's kind of a miss. If you look at the Oath of the Ancients that we just mentioned, the Aura of Warding is really good, although I will say that I've kind of revised my opinion of it down slightly over the years as I've seen it played more. I still think it's a really solid ability. I'm not trying to take any cheap shots on it, but, cuts enemy spell damage in half, but most spell damage already gives you a saving throw for half. This is potentially cutting it down to a quarter, which really just neutralizes enemy casters. That is quite nice. But most of the really dangerous effects that enemy casters are going to be using aren't probably damage spells in most cases. So, like I said, I still had some pretty good luck with it. But we've had a couple campaigns now with Oath of the Ancient Paladins, one that went all the way to level 20. And while the aura is still really good, it's not like I remember when I first read the book, I was like, this is incredible. Just half enemy damage, plus you probably get a saving throw for half of that. And, after you see it more, you're like, okay, it's still pretty good. But, it's no +3 to +6 to your initiatives. That's insane. The Conquest Paladin has a very good aura as well, especially if you're planning on taking, enough levels to get fear and stuff. I like the amount of synergy the Oath of Conquest have. I've done a video on them as well, and I really like Oath of Conquest. But I think that a lot of the Oath of Conquest, the power is really in their spell list is excellent, especially their low level spell list, but even the higher level spells, they get fear, like I said, they've got some really nice stuff. And then the channel divinity options are both really nice, especially the fear one, which again just synergizes with your auras and stuff. But I might say that from 7+ on a straight paladin, I think Oath of the Watchers starts to really pull ahead. It's probably weaker. In fact, it's probably one of the weakest up till 7. So if you're planning on multi-classing, it's probably not as strong of an option, right? But like I said, 7+, it really, really starts to shine. Anyways, moving on. Level 15. Vigilant Rebuke. You've learned how to chastise anyone who dares to wield beguilements against you and your wards. Whenever you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you succeeds on an intelligence, a wisdom, or a charisma saving throw, you can use your reaction to deal 2d8 plus your charisma modifier force damage to the creature that forced the saving throw. It is just using a reaction. It's not requiring spell slots or your channel divinity or any sort of additional resource. So I like that aspect. Again, it is somewhat circumstantial, and the damage, by the time you're level 15 2 to 8 plus your charisma mod is not particularly high, but I mean, there's no saving throw for half damage or anything like that. No saving throw to avoid the damage for that matter. It's just somebody uses this ability, forces one of these saving throws, you use your reaction and damage them back. So, it's not awful. I kind of like it, actually. Just more damage. And it's essentially free. It's just using your reaction, which you may not have had something to do with it anyways. Granted, you could have been casting Counterspell, but let's be honest, you probably used all your third level spell slots on smites anyway, and Counterspell wasn't really going to be an option. Anyways, level 20, Mortalbulwark. For those rare campaigns that you actually get to use this ability, you manifest a spark of divine power in defense of the mortal realms, which does sound pretty awesome. As a bonus action, you gain the following benefits for 1 minute. You gain True Sight with a range of 120 feet. Not bad. You have advantage on attack rolls against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, and fiends. That's actually really good because by the time you're level 20, that's probably going to be the bulk of what you're fighting. So, not too bad at all. When you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also force it to make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is magically banished to its native plane of existence if it's currently not there. On a successful save, the creature can't be banished by this feature for 24 hours. This one I'm so on. Like, the banishment ability is quite nice, but most stuff that you might really want to banish by this point probably has legendary saves. Although I should point out there are some really notable exceptions when it comes to fiends. Like the Pit Fiend, for some reason, does not have legendary saves. The Balor doesn't have legendary saves. I don't know why. You would think that these things would, but they don't. So, there are some quality targets still. Now, if you're fighting Orcus or Demogorgon or someone like that, then you're going to be out of luck, of course. But still, not so bad. Anyways, once you use this bonus action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a 5th level spell slot to use it again. Pricey, but it is a pretty good ability. So if you think you need it again, consider using it. But anyways, that's the Oath of the Watchers. Like I said, there's not as much, I think, in the lower levels. Although you're still a Paladin, you're still going to rock, let's be honest, right? Paladins have a lot packed into those first 6 levels or so. But your level 7 aura is great. Getting Counterspell at level 9, sure, if you were a bard or somebody, or not a bard, sorry, if you were a sorcerer or a warlock, you could have had it at 5. Bard, unless you're Oath of, or College of Lore, geez, then you might have had it, but, overall, Counterspell's a great spell. Hold Monster is a nice spell, they do have some nice spells on that option there, right? But the main thing is, I really like that level 7 aura. Just boosting everybody's initiative. This is something that's going to be useful every single time you have a fight. It's just going to be there for, you, any nearby party members, stack up on the door so everybody gets it when you kick the door in and see if there's any monsters inside. It's just an amazing, amazing ability. And like I said, they've also got some other nice stuff at higher levels as well. So, this would be a Paladin that if I was going to play straight Paladin, which, sometimes I might, right? This would definitely be one that I would consider. And even if I did want to multi-class with it, I would, instead of stopping at 6, like many of us do, I would definitely go 7. And if I wanted the ability score increase, maybe even 8, right? But definitely 7. I don't see any point going 6 levels of Oath of the Watchers and not taking level 7, because that aura is just excellent. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the Oath of the Watchers. Feel free to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and most importantly, like I always say, leave me your comments in the comment section. I look forward to reading them, and I'd love to hear about people's experience if they've actually played Oath of the Watchers. I haven't played one yet, and nobody at my table's played one yet either. We currently have yet another Oath of the Ancients Paladin, though, of course. But I'd be really curious to see what people thought of it, especially in a campaign that went like beyond level 7 and they got a chance to use some of those higher level abilities, maybe cast some of those 3rd or higher level spells, you know, I'd really like to hear about that. Because just looking at the class, it looks like it'd be a lot of fun and very, very solid in those like mid to higher levels. So anyways, that's everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.